Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working together through each of the ABRSM Theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets and you can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find out about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and hints on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time come exam day when you're actually working through your exam paper. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. I have lots more in store, and now we're going to continue with the specimen paper. We're going to look at question 2 to begin with, so if you turn with me to page 27, we can make a start on that. And as I always say, I know I'm repeating myself, but do try this on your own first of all. Always work in pencil, and then it doesn't matter if you go wrong, you can just rub it out if you've got an eraser to hand, and you'll learn much more thoroughly through making those mistakes instead of just passively copying it with me. So now we have some work to do on intervals. So I always recommend that you can quickly sketch this out on a piece of scrap paper. You can do that in your exam too, and it's worth spending that couple of minutes to do so. Sketch out a piano keyboard. It just helps you to visualise some of the trickier intervals so you can see the increments of semitones. So we're always counting from the lowest note and then we'll take it from there. So interval 1 takes us from this low F up to this high B, so we can tell that we've already exceeded an octave. So I'm going to call that a compound interval, and then I'm going to just jump the octave. I prefer to do that because then I still know that fourths, fifths and octaves are perfect, and I don't have to worry about learning any new numerical systems for the perfect intervals. So now we have a compound 1, 2, 3, 4, counting the F as our first. We have a compound fourth. Now let's just have a little look at that. F to B flat would be a perfect fourth, but then we've extended or augmented that by a semitone. And remember, in perfect interval there's no major minor, we go straight from perfect to augmented, and so we know that that's an augmented fourth, and so we can say it's a compound augmented fourth. So here in this next one, let's just get the number first of all. We've got 1, 2, counting the lowest note as the first note, and that is also considered the tonic. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's half marks straight away. We've got a seventh of some sort. Now then, it's hard thinking in the key or in terms of C sharp scale. So let's just simplify this. So C to B would be major. Now it's B flat, so we've made that smaller, so it's minor. And then of course it's not C, it's C sharp, so by raising the lower note we've made it smaller again, and so we've gone from minor to diminished. I think that's an easier way to get to that one. You just follow the increments of semitones through. So that's a diminished seventh. Let's have a look at this next one. So here we're going from an A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going from A to E. Nothing's been changed, and so that's just a straightforward perfect fifth. Let's look at this one here. So we're going from C, the sharp's been cancelled, so we C natural. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know it's a 6, that's half marks. And then C to A would be major. A would be part of C major scale, but we've made it a semitone smaller by dropping down a semitone. If you see, we've gone from C to A to A flat, so we've made it minor, and of course A flat is part of C minor, which has a key signature of B flat, C flats and A flats, and so that's another confirmation that we have a minor sixth there. And then our last interval, always count from the lowest note even though it comes second. So to begin with, we know we've got a 1, 2, 3, a third. Now again, we're starting on a sharp key, which is a tricky starting point. So let's just work it out by degrees. So we know that F to A is a major third. And then we have A flat, so we've made it smaller, that's a minor third. And then by raising the lower note, we've made it smaller again, and so it's now become diminished. So we have a diminished third there. There we go. Let's move on to the next question. Now this next section is a transposition question, which is very similar in terms of working out intervals, because we are still shuffling around intervals and adjusting and raising and lowering notes as necessary. It's quite a similar sort of thinking process to intervals. Now these are the actual sounds made by a trumpet in B flat, and so what we're going to do, we're going to transpose it up a major second to see what the player would actually be reading, because remember, a player that plays an instrument in B flat, like a trumpet or a clarinet, it plays a C, but it sounds a B flat. And so in order for it to play a note C, it's got to play a major second higher, and that's what we're going to be doing. And so we first of all need to find out what key we are transposing the instrument up to. So here we have a key signature of 3 flats. Now of course it could be major, it could be minor. It's irrelevant really, because all of these accidentals will clarify that, and we'll adjust things as we go. So it's easier to think of it in terms of a major key. So this is E flat major. And if we want to go up a major second from E flat, that takes us to F major. So we're now in F major, which would have a key signature of B flats. So that's the key signature we need to put in. So I'm going to do that now. So there's our new key signature. There's our time signature, and we're ready to go. So I'm just going to map out my bars. Although they've given us 2 lines, I'm not going to use 2 lines. You shouldn't need that. If you've got a nice sharp pencil and you stay neat and tidy, you should be able to keep it exactly aligned to their example. And that way, if I keep everything aligned, I'm not going to lose track where I am. We've got enough to be thinking about without worrying about getting lost. So we've got to transpose everything up a major second, which all as it means now is we're moving from a line to a space, or a space to the next line up. So we're moving everything up a step. So this takes us now up to a D, and then we're jumping an octave higher to the next D. I'm not going to bother about stems. I'll worry about those later because I may have to change the direction of the stems. Let's just get the hard work done first of all. So this will take us up to an E. Now this has been lowered by a flat. This is a D natural that's been lowered by a flat, and so we will do so. We will lower this semitone from E natural to E flat. Now this will be tied. I'll worry about that in a moment. So it's same blob again, down a step, blob. I'm not sure that's the technical term. Note head, should I say? Now here we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this is a G, so we should now be on an A. So double check that, that's correct. Up a third. That takes us to C, a note higher. Down a step takes us to B. Now actually it's B flat. The key signature's done all the work for us there, so we can just keep going. It's no accidental. So the key signature's done the job for us there. So now up a step takes us to a G, and I'll just double check. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th higher. Yep, it's a good idea to just double check that. Same note again. It will be tied, but I'll worry about that later. Down a step, down a step, down a step. This is where you really need a sharp pencil. Lots of busy notes going on here. So now down a step takes us to a C. Now at the moment that's a B flat that's been raised by a natural. If you can see, B flat raised by a natural. And so this is a C natural, and so in order to raise that, we need to add a sharp sign to raise it a semitone. So that will need a sharp sign to raise it. So next door note up a step. Now we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That should take us to an A. It has done. Up a step. Yeah. Now the key signature will do all the work for us there, so nothing to worry about. Now down a fourth. Should take us to an F. Now this is an E flat that's been raised by a natural. This is an F natural, and so we need to raise that a semitone by adding a sharp. It's not enough to just transplant the symbols. We've got to think about raising or lowering by a semitone depending what note we are now on. So up a step. Now we're going to go down a fifth. And that should take us to C. Now here, this is a B flat from the key signature that's been raised by a natural. This is a C natural, and so to raise that by semitone we need to add a sharp. Next door note. And now we go up a fifth, which should take us one step higher to A, and it has done. Don't forget the rest at the end, and we'll just put etc. So now that's the hard thinking done. We've just got to put the stems in place. So we have to choose whether the stems go up or down. The middle line is the deciding line. However, we have one that needs to go up, one that needs to come down. We need to beam those together though, so we choose which one is furthest away. This one is the one that sort of requires the stem more, so it outvotes this one, and so the stems both go up. That's a simple case of stems down there. Now here, this one would normally have the stem going up because it's below the middle line. However, because it's joined to these, which will have the stems coming down, it's outvoted, and so it will have to just fit in with the group. And now I can put my tie in place. This one could go either way. I'll keep it stem down. All of these can be stemmed down. Nice and straightforward. See why I'm not thinking about that whilst I'm doing the transpose, and there's enough to be thinking about. I'll pop the accent mark, might as well. Now here, again, this one's outvoted. These two, that one could go either way, this one must go up, but these two have kind of outvoted it, and they need the stems to come down. So really that one can go either way, so that's the one that's outvoted. And then we'll flip the stems upwards because all of these require stems to go up, being below the middle line. There we go. And so for the purposes of the exam, that would do. If you've got spare time afterwards, you could then go ahead and put your slurs and dynamic markings. But that will do to answer that question. We'll look at the next question in the next video. I hope this is of use to you. I hope it's helping you with your studies. I hope that you're enjoying it too. I'm certainly enjoying working through it with you. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. Please also do visit sharonbill.com and have a browse around all the resource and information that's available there to help you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.